Good morning, children. Today we are starting the chapter Structural Organization in Animals from class 11. First component of this chapter is tissues. As you know, the tissues are a group of similar cells which perform a specific function. In plant cells or in plants, there are different types of tissues like parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, which belong to simple permanent tissues, and another type of tissue is complex tissues. But in animals, there are mainly two kinds of tissues that we are going to study in detail today. So tissues are a group of similar cells which perform a specific function. The first type of tissues in plants are simple permanent tissues. But when you come to animals, the tissues can be classified into four groups. They are epithelial tissue, then next one is connective tissue, then muscular tissues, and nervous tissue or neural tissue. So these are the different types of tissues in animals. As in plants, the epithelial tissues are mainly meant for the covering and protection of the animal's body. All body of the animals is covered and protected by epithelial tissues. Not only this, the internal organs of animals, including the tubes and ducts, various cavities and various organs of animals are also being covered and protected by this epithelial tissue. So now epithelial tissues are covering and protecting tissue. Now, what are the different types of epithelial tissue? There are two main categories of epithelial tissue: simple epithelium and second one compound epithelium or stratified epithelium. Okay, so there are two important types of epithelial tissue: simple epithelium and second one is compound or stratified epithelium. Simple epithelium is made up of single layer of cells. Simple epithelium is made up of single layer of cells. For example, the single layer of cells can be arranged in this way. Simple epithelium has a single layer of cells or a single layer with cells are compactly arranged without intercellular space. So simple epithelium consists of a single layer of cells which are connected together by certain cementing material and without intercellular space. All epithelial tissues underlined by a layer of cells which are called fibrous membrane. A fibrous membrane or fibrous layer of cells separate this simple epithelium from the other tissues. So the simple epithelium can be visible outside or they cover the entire body organs, and you can understand that these cells are arranged compactly without intercellular space. The cells contain nucleus with abundant protoplasm. So we can understand that simple epithelium is made up of single layer of cells which are connected without much intercellular space between them, and there is an underlying layer of tissues called fibrous membrane which separate the simple epithelium from the rest of the tissues. Now this simple epithelium can be divided into again three types. Simple squamous epithelium. Squamous. Simple squamous epithelium. Simple squamous epithelium is really similar as the simple epithelium, but we can understand their functions. You know, the diffusion of various substances. Diffusion of various substances across it, because they are thin walled and single layered. Many substances can be diffused through it. They are mainly found in the blood vessels, as well as the alveoli of lungs. So they are found mainly in the blood vessels or on the walls of the blood vessels and alveoli. So the main function, you know, blood vessels, when the blood flows through the blood vessels, the blood gets filtered, and the filtering fluid is called lymph. You know what are lymph? Lymph is a fluid, colorless fluid that is extracted through the blood vessels when the blood flows through it. So because of this simple squamous epithelium, which is a single layered cells, easily the substance can be diffused and separated from the blood to the tissue fluid or tissue spaces. Now alveoli, gaseous exchange takes place. Oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange takes place in the alveoli. So we can understand that this alveoli or the air sacs inside the lungs and the blood vessels are covered and protected by simple squamous epithelium. Now, the simple squamous epithelium is found in many other organs as well. For example, between the cells and other organs. So mainly alveoli and blood vessels are the sites of simple tissues. So simple tissues are made up of single layer of cells. They are mainly meant for the diffusion of various substances. They are found in alveoli and blood vessels. Now the second type of epithelial tissue that we can say cuboidal epithelium. Cuboidal epithelium. As the name indicates, the cells are cube-like. The cells are cube-like. Cube means square type. You can see the cells are cube-like. Cells are cube-like. Cube-like cells. There is a nucleus in each cell, and there is a basic membrane or basilar membrane, fibrous membrane that separates this cuboidal tissue from the underlying organs or tissue. So we can understand that cuboidal epithelium consists of cube-like cells. They are mainly found in the ducts and tubule of the nephron of the kidneys. You know, kidney nephron. What are nephrons? Nephrons are the fine filtering units or basic units of kidney in which the blood is filtered. So every kidney has around 10 lakhs or 1 million of nephrons. So you can imagine how smaller are the nephrons. So the nephrons are covered and protected by the cuboidal epithelium. So cuboidal epithelium consists of tube-like cells. They are mainly found in the nephron membrane or nephron surface. And what is the function of it? You can imagine, of course, in the nephron, absorption and secretion of various substances. Absorption and secretion of various substances. Absorption and secretion of various substances takes place through the nephron because the blood is filtered. Blood is filtered. And also the various substances from the blood is absorbed through this nephron. So nephron should be modified in such a way that it should help in the absorption and secretion of substances. So that is the second type of tissue, cuboidal epithelium. Now the third type of epithelial tissue we can say columnar epithelium. Columnar epithelium. You have studied in class 9. What is the word or meaning of the word columnar? Columnar means pillar-like or elongated cells. Pillar-like or elongated cells. So columnar epithelium consists of pillar-like elongated cells. And the nucleus is seen at the base of the cells. Base of the cells. Okay, nucleus is seen at the base of the cells. And there is a fibrous basilar membrane which is separate the columnar epithelium from other underlying tissues. So we can say columnar epithelium is a very tall cells and they are column-like or pillar-like cells, and where they are seen usually found in the stomach and intestine. They are found in the stomach and intestine. Stomach and intestine. And their main function is absorption various substances. Absorption of various substances, because through the stomach many substances are being absorbed. Intestine is the site of absorption of the nutrients. So absorption of various nutrient substances takes place through the intestine, particularly small intestine. So what are columnar epithelium? The epithelium which consists of pillar-like cells that are elongated cells. The nuclei are located at the base of the cells, and there is underlying membrane, basilar membrane. Now they are found in the stomach and intestine. These are the three basic types of epithelial tissues: squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, and columnar epithelium. Now, in the cuboidal epithelium and the columnar epithelium, sometimes there are cilia. Cilia attached to the surface of cells. Cilia attached to the surface of cells. Such tissues, particularly cuboidal epithelium and columnar epithelium with cilia, are called ciliated columnar epithelium. Ciliated columnar epithelium. The ciliated epithelium or columnar epithelium mainly helps in the pushing of various substances from one side to other side, because the cilia, we call it microvilli, that much smaller than microvilli. Microvilli or cilia push the material towards one side, thereby permitting or forcing the movement of fine molecules from one side to other side. And of course they are found in certain organs such as bronchioles and fallopian tubes. So such ciliated columnar epithelium or ciliated cuboidal epithelium are usually found in the fallopian tube. You know what are fallopian tubes? Fallopian tubes are oviducts through which the egg-or ovum moves and reach the fertilization site in the oviduct. Okay, so the movement of the ovum or egg after every 28 days, when the ovum is formed, ovum moves through the fallopian tube by the action of the cilia. So we can say they are also found in the bronchioles. Bronchioles. Not only fallopian tube, they are found in the bronchioles. Bronchioles are very fine, branches of the bronchus inside the lungs. Inside the lungs, the bronchus divides into minute branches called bronchioles, and the air and various dust particles are being trapped and moved because of this cilia. The ciliated epithelium, particularly ciliated columnar epithelium and the ciliated cuboidal epithelium, are mainly found in the fallopian tubes or oviduct, bronchioles, which helps in the movement or pushing of substances from one side to other side of the organs. Now, some of the cells, particularly squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium and columnar epithelium, modify into glandular epithelium. They modify into glands. Such modified squamous, cuboidal or columnar epithelium is called glandular epithelium. You have already studied, there are two types of glands. What are the two types of glands you have studied in lower classes? Do you remember it? Yes. There are two important types of glandular epithelium or glands. We can say exocrine gland and endocrine gland. Exocrine and endocrine glands. What is the meaning of exocrine? Exocrine glands are glands because they are ductless glands and their secretions called enzymes. The secretions called enzymes. The exocrine glands secrete enzymes as they do not have ducts or tubes. So endocrine glands do not have duct and exocrine glands have a duct. So because of the presence of the duct in the exocrine glands, the enzymes can be carried or poured into specific part of our body. So exocrine glands are also called ductus glands. D-U-C-T-O-U-S, ductus glands, because they have duct and they secrete enzymes. For example, salivary gland is an exocrine gland. They secrete digestive enzymes. Stomach, you can see gastric glands. They are exocrine glands. They have a duct or tube through which the enzymes can be poured out from the gland. Right? At the same time, endocrine glands are ductless glands. Endocrine glands are otherwise called ductless glands because they do not have a duct or tube to carry their secretions called hormones. Do you know what are hormones? What are hormones? Hormones are chemicals secreted by endocrine glands. So, endocrine glands are called ductless glands because they don't have duct, and as they don't have duct, the secretions called hormones dissolve into the blood or directly poured into the blood. Now the blood carries the hormones to various parts of the body. At particular target site, these hormones act on and do their function. So there are two categories of, you can understand the two categories of glandular epithelium. They are exocrine glandular epithelium or exocrine gland and endocrine gland. There are two more types of glands, simple gland and you can say multicellular glands. Simple glands and multicellular glands. Again, there are two other types of glandular epithelium. Simple glands and multicellular glands. As the name indicates, simple glands are really made up of unicellular or single cells, and they are found in alimentary canal. They are found in our alimentary canal. At the same time, multicellular glands have a large number of cells, and they are very complex in structure. And we can see multicellular glands like salivary gland. Salivary gland is an example of multicellular gland. And simple glands, we can see the example. It is found the glands on the alimentary canal or gut. The glands present on the alimentary canal is an example of simple glands, and the glands present on the salivary glands, particularly multicellular glands. So there are two more glands, total 4 types of glands. Do you remember? Now what are the 3 types of epithelium? So in this module we have learnt what are epithelial tissues, what are the 3 categories of epithelial tissues. So what are the 3 categories of epithelial tissues? Squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium and columnar epithelium. Okay, based on the shape of the cells present in them, we can divide the epithelium into 3 types: squamous, cuboidal and columnar epithelium. Now 2 more epithelial tissues can be specialized based on the presence of the cilia. So cuboidal and columnar epithelium with cilia are called ciliated epithelium. They are found in certain parts of our body. Now, some of these three types of epithelial tissues modified into glandular epithelium. There are four types of glandular epithelium or glands: exocrine, endocrine, simple and multicellular glands. That's all from the introductory part of this chapter. Thank you.